recording officially. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Market Watch Group Wednesday Market Midpoint. Let's go talk about what's happening. First and foremost, and remember that jobs report, that's private, not non-farm, not Department of Labor, that's private. We're all a little suspicious when it comes to is my screen's not sharing? Hold on. There it is. Thank you, Kami. Good to see you, my friend. Remember that it's ADP, not like our formal, not like the Department of Labor report isn't challenged as to its validity at times as well. Yeah, let's talk about different employment metrics for sure, Press. Absolutely. Great way to start it. Let me remind you, education, this is new jobs. So this is employment report from ADP, meaning private payroll. So I believe ADP processes approximately 6 or 7 million. Someone could look it up and tell me if I'm right on that. It could be different now. Payrolls every week, right? They're the largest private payroll provider in the country, and have developed some data as a result of that. So how can you have negative new jobs, lost jobs? That's what they're saying is the net impact in June was lost jobs. And that's the concern that has our futures going into negative territory, without a doubt. Okay, education illustrative purposes only. Nothing's intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. Yada, yada. That's our disclaimers. What are we going to do? Talk about the opening. Talk about what's going on. Yeah, we will go from there. Okay. Private companies, like non-public companies or non-government. It can include potentially publicly traded companies. So, yeah. Okay. Wait. Posture, trades, list, setups, trading plan. That's the agenda. Private sector. Not. So that's a great clarification between Press and Bob. 25 million. I thought it was only like 6 or 7 million. That's a lot. They do a lot of payroll processing. So, but the numbers, so let's pull this up. Unexpectedly slash jobs. Private employers unexpectedly cut 33,000 jobs. The latest signal of an intensifying slowdown in the labor market. Definitely has us with some concern here. Right? Definitely has us absolutely concerned. And then what do we start to see? Stocks futures wobble after weak jobs data. Microsoft to lay off as many as 9,000. Yeah, it's tough in here right now. Not real great news. Let's keep looking. Tesla's quarterly deliveries fall more sharply than analyst estimates. That's dropping. Rivian reports 22% fall in quarterly deliveries as tariffs hit demand. Okay. Those are planned for months. There you go, press. Thank you for bringing in. When we see the news hit, we know there's going to be increased oh no, what's going on? Let me get this up here and let's talk about what Press's question was. Because the various employment measures, we'll talk about those. We get them all this week. So the first one we look at is job openings. And what's interesting, we have a tale of two different sets of data here. Last month, the job openings was at 7.4 million. They were expecting it to drop marginally by 100,000, and it increased by 400,000 unexpectedly. So there were 400,000 more jobs available than they expected. If you take, I believe our workforce is estimated around 175 million. Somebody can challenge me on that. Times 0.042, that's our unemployment rate. That's how many unemployed with the unemployment rate, right? And if you look, there's a job for every unemployed person, theoretically. Now, if you were to look at a really nasty labor market time, in fact, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to create some snapshots of various times where we're hey, right before, X situation when there was real labor weakness, what did that look like? Well, at that time, you would have, 300,000, 400,000 jobless claims more. Right now, we're at 240. When you look at the job openings, those numbers are very, very low. You'd only have, a million or two jobs available. When you look at the unemployment rate, if it's sitting at 7%, well, that's right. If we say, if we have a 7.5% unemployment rate, that's 13 million people unemployed. And if there's 2 million jobs available, that math doesn't help anybody, right? We're not there. But we definitely want to make sure we keep a real close eye on that. That includes the slackers, that's for sure. You'll always have people say, well, what about the underemployed? What about the, people who have capitulated? What about, I get it, but this is the data we have. So, and it's useful. So we'll take it for what it is. So job openings, that's still favorable. I think I could maybe even show the chart. Businesses aren't hiring very quickly. That's something to think about. I thought that it had a chart. I'll find a chart. I'll bring it. We're gonna have an employment study session soon, where we can really connect. The economy lost jobs for the first time since 2023 due to trade wars. So there you go. There is an impact. Next, so ADP, last time was 29. They said, oh, you know what? It's going to get back to 100. And we dropped. Not only did we not add, we lost 33,000. Okay, next report comes tomorrow. This is the weekly jobless claims. So this is unemployment. This is how many people filed for unemployment benefit, right? Jobless claims. So if we had, let's just focus on the government numbers. If we have 240,000 file, but we still end up getting 110,000 new jobs, that means that they actually lost 240, gained 350, and the net is 110,000. Right? So our threshold of concern is above 250. And we typically don't hit that, or we typically don't really get concerned about that until it's there 3 weeks in a row. That's kind of my, threshold of tolerance before I'm like, whoa. Anything other than that, because not long ago we saw it tick above 250, got up to like 260, and it dropped back down, and then it eased back to like 215, and then it sat 215 to 225 for a while. Now it's eased up, eked up, not eased, eked up to about 240, but that's still okay. So that's something that we watch on a weekly basis. The ADP is first Wednesday of the month, or possibly last Wednesday if Friday comes on the first or the second of the month, but you can see this time it was fine. The U.S. employment report, that's the Department of Labor. So last month, 140,000, which was good when we only got 29 from ADP. And people pay much more attention to the Department of Labor than they do to the ADP. Here we're expecting it to drop by about 30,000 jobs down to 110. 110 is not even at maintenance. For maintenance, we kind of, to keep the job market kind of healthy and stable, we look for 150,000 or so. So when it starts to drop below that, it's concerning. If it goes negative, it's super concerning. And that's why the market's reacting the way it is to the first negative report in 2 years. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then tomorrow we have, I thought there was something else, but it doesn't look like it. Unemployment, jobless claims. So the unemployment rate's looking to tick up from 4.2 to 4.3. More people. We'll see. Market's open. Let's go take a peek how it opened. Apple looks fine. LJ yesterday asked if that was a broken flag. And I said, for me, no, which is why I'm in the process. For me, my analysis on Apple is that's my line of consolidation, which just now has been broken. So that's step one. And we've got a new higher high. That's good. And when this ultimately finds whatever resistance it's going to find, and then it has a pullback, then that's what I'm looking to trade. Wherever it comes. This would be a flag right here or a pullback right here. But for me, no. Now, if you said that's a flag, I think, and you traded it, the trade would be on this first day. It would be in and you would be live. And so I said, no, I'm not going to say I think you're wrong. If you think that's a flag, great. If you think it's a flag, trade it as a flag. And you'd still be in and it would be profitable. So that's a great illustration of how, multiple perspectives can be trading simultaneously with one person waiting, one person trading, and vice versa. So, okay. Let's keep going through the list. Actually, no, let's not go through the list. Let's go to SPY. Oh, this is flagging still. There's no concerns here. Oh, the futures are down. Oh, it's bad employment. What do we decide? The sky is not falling. Nor do we think it is. We had one sign of concern. Now, if that multiplies tomorrow, we get more concern tomorrow, then clearly it'll probably accelerate this. But what do I see here? I see a flag developing here. And if not a flag, then I think maybe a pullback. Yes. Oh, excuse me. Extremely healthy press. Like we need that. We're finished or finishing most of our trades. We've been talking about, oh, we took profit here, we tightened stops here, we finished this. And now we want more trades. I want more trades. And the only way I'm going to get more trades is to buy the dip. So what do I need to buy the dip? I need a dip. Give me a dip. Let's look at the VIX and see how the VIX is processing this. Are the institutions more afraid of this than they're letting on? Nah, not really. Right? Barely any fear here. 17? That's fear? Come on. Nobody's afraid of 17. That's a blip. It's definitely... And what's interesting, you guys, is it's actually for the first time, actually it still hasn't. The high here was 1729, 1743, 1748, and we're at 1731. We haven't even taken out these highs. Yesterday, we assessed this as just kind of going sideways along the bottom. Now we have the cross. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, if this thing pops on up here towards this level and rolls over, that's certainly a beautiful representation of the next lower high, which would ideally be our next entry opportunity, something like that. Today's Tuesday. No, what day is today? Wednesday, Thursday, Monday. I mean, yeah, it might not be till next week. It might not be. We might get something. We might not. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking for it. I definitely want something. But I'm not going to force the trade. I'm going to let the trade come to me. So let's go see what we think trades might be coming our way. Amazon. Yeah. Flag on. Yes. Valid at any point from the flag. Unlikely today, but let's say tomorrow it does this. And this thing will turn right back up. And people will say, but Scott, it's overbought. So what? Right? So what? That means there's lots of buyers. APH. I took the rest of mine off yesterday, and I'm already looking for the next trade. Already looking. Last time, we got the trade in 3 days. We took it. We had to show some patience during the little hiccup, and then our patience paid off. Okay. Sounds like a reasonable plan. Let's, that plan worked. I don't know. Here's a crazy idea. Let's try it again. Why not? Seems like a good time. Okay, let's keep going here. So, yeah, AP8 setting up. Bank of America pausing. It's actually technically a little higher today. There's been some pretty strong momentum in the financials. Seems pretty good. Caterpillar still strong. I feel like we saw that one. I feel like that's on me. I was thinking about it when it showed up. The signal is standing out where we were. And you might think, Scott, that can't be a flag. It's really not. Flags aren't that long. But I want you to remember what a flag, a pennant, wedge, a pullback, what are those? They're all the same generic price action event, which is a price consolidation. A minor price consolidation. What's another way for us to call that? A dip. Was this a big dip? No, it dipped from 364 to 356, 8 points. Barely more than 2%. But it's a dip. And we buy the dip when? When the buyers take control. Bam, right there. You can see that. You can see it here on our stochastics to help confirm it. If the price itself, I was distracted by something else, I think. I can't remember. There's the move. Now what? Patience. Patience and find another dip. Whoops. We had one and I just left it. There it is. APH dipping. CLS dipping. Looks fantastic. Stock looks strong. Just hit 52-week highs. What does that mean? No resistance. Where's the resistance? And you might say, well, that's the resistance. Okay. How strong is it? How do we determine how strong support and resistance levels are? Two concepts for me that I will draw into the analysis. Number one, recency. Number two, frequency. Recency and frequency. How many times has it hit it and when? If I've hit it twice, once now and once a year ago, it's not that strong. We just barely ran out of steam at that level and it's pulling back now. Is that strong resistance where we're like, oh, I don't know, it's going to have one? No, I think to myself, it's going to blast right through there with some strength. Because look at its trend. It's fabulous. It just went from 70 to 160. 2.5 months. I don't know what it is that sometimes make us think, well, now it's got to come down. Why? Why? Didn't it 110? Didn't it 135? Why do we think it at one, right? Like what is the thing that has us do that? I've done it. Still sometimes find myself like, ooh, I think it looks fabulous. Looks great. CME, you dirty dogs. Anyone in it? When the last person's done, I'm throwing it off our island. How are their fundamentals? CLS's fundamentals? Yeah, that's a great question. As I don't do a lot of fundamental analysis, I don't know. Kami, do you have a favorite that you look at out of curiosity? I've tried in the past to like include fundamentals, and I just struggled to do so. I believe it's all baked into the price. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it can only help, right? Like if you're stacking evidence, which is something we say we like to do, stack evidence for the trade. Whatever you can find that's like, hey, look, what about this? This helps. Sure. I certainly would not tell someone, well, you don't need that. Look, if you find it helpful, you need it. If it helps, you need it. Is there a handy proxy? See, that's the thing. In an old company of mine, we had kind of a connection to a company called Zacks. And Zacks, there's Zacks scores. So what they do is they've broken down components of fundamentals into scoring, and then they rate it, and then you can just kind of look at it and be like, oh, it scores well on Zacks. I still talk to people who will be like, oh, do you look at the Zacks score? And I'm like, yeah, okay, no, but you can. It's and I get it, Kami. That makes sense, right? That's why I was asking. Some people might have a couple ratios. I like a PEG ratio. I think price earnings is not really all that sustainable. But when you look at price to earnings to growth, because growth is important, a lot of times what the problem is that you find it's sector specific. So then you kind of have to like orient each sector where you're like, well, is this a good PE? Well, it depends, PE ratio for a bank stock versus a tech stock would be very different. Or if I look at like debt to income, but there's some key ones that you might look at. I mean, obviously sales growth, revenue growth, return on equity, which looks at, the effectiveness of management, PEG ratio, things like that. Yahoo Finance. There you go. Okay, CME getting ready to get kicked off the island. COF overextended like most of the financials are. You wrote it, you're in it, you made some money, you're taking your money. Now what? Now we're going to wait for the next trade. Cisco, come on down. Come on down. Looking good. There's some really nice, these are great stocks. Stocks that we've traded and we want to trade again. We're at C. We're at the C's and we already have 3 of them starting to pull back. Love it. It's not where? It's not in the industrials. It's not in the financials. All right, I'm getting rid of this drawing for now. We're going to wait and see. I think this is a little bit more cup, which means now maybe handle. I don't know. We'll see. GE Vernova. That's consolidating. Yeah, that's a good point, Kami. Time frame is important. If I'm a speculator versus an investor, everything changes, right? When the second I think, hey, I'm holding this, you're an investor. You own the stock. You're an investor. Yeah, if I'm investing in something, I want to know more about it. If I'm trading something, if I'm speculating on something, I'm just watching price. I'm like, okay, this is moving in a way that looks recognizable. Let's give it a shot. Gold, kind of iffy. Google. Come on down, Google. Add communication services to the list. Which means, of course, we would expect Meta to be there as well. Goldman. Flagging. Earnings season. Once we get done with, we've got 2 weeks about. Once we get done with the current, watching the employment, the next set of inflation data, we have corporate America bringing data. And we'll see. But we will have time, in my opinion, for a trade to develop, turn. Can I take a trade here? Yes, I will definitely look to put this on, knowing I'm out the day before, and I hope I get a little run. And I hope I also get what? What tends to happen to volatility that last little bit? Tends to spike. Look back here. Didn't spike, but it also didn't drop. So if it can maintain, good. If it can increase, even better. So I am still thinking we may have good opportunity for one more trade on financials. Hood, not yet. Howmet. I exited that one pretty quickly coming out of this. I had tightened my stop according to a 4-hour Heiken Ashi. That paid off well for me. Out. What do I need to trade this again? Well, I just had a higher high. And just like this higher high dropped, stabilized, and then gave a signal. What am I looking for? Drop, stabilize, and give a signal. And let's go. Giddy up. IBM. Okay, so I didn't end up doing that. So let's just kind of sit this over here somewhere and wait to see if it's going to come to us. Hit some resistance. Now we have this thing going into consolidation mode. Okay, what's next? Add it to the list. Howmet's on the list. IBM's on the list. Small caps are hanging out just fine right now. Right? Just fine right now. Okay. Let's keep going. Meta on the list. Beautiful. Looks fabulous for us. Okay, what else? Okay. Morgan, as I said, I took mine. I feel like it's really struggling. Yeah, I wanted it to see if it could bust out. Recency and frequency. How recently had it hit anything at this 141 level? Not very much. But the last time it did, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Does that make it a little bit, a little bit harder to get through this, even though it's been a little while? Yeah, because it hit it 3 times last time, and it just couldn't figure out how to do that. So, at this point, we're thinking to ourselves, okay, it might have a hard time here. It might need the handle. Because this is definitely now a large scale cup. People are remembering, right? People are remembering. People who were there last time and it didn't get higher are now thinking to themselves, oh, what's going on here? It's not getting higher. Recency and frequency. There you go. And then what? Well, same thing. If I can get a little consolidation, as long as I have at least 4 or 5 days, then I'm going to feel pretty good about that. Okay. Buying the dips. That's a great point, Press. Did you guys see what Press said? The softer data is going to make it a little bit easier now. We'll go take a peek at that before we call it a day. Microsoft, put it on the list. Hasn't been for a while. Bear. Looking good for Microsoft setting up. Micron setting up. Now, one of the things I talk about is pullback versus sell-off. This is definitely still pullback. There's nowhere near sell-off territory. This looks great. Okay, let's keep going. Netflix setting up. What are we going to do with Netflix? A spread trade. What we have building here, these are very expensive options. So it's a tough one for getting your risk handled without using a spread. So that's what we're going to do. The last time I held off because it was so expensive putting it out. Trade worked out great. Let's do the spread. Kami says, Goolsby. Yeah, when my man Goolsby speaks, everybody knows it's time to listen. That's how Goolsby works. NVIDIA setting up. Nice little flag pattern. PLTR. I mean, it's holding up, but I don't know. I like the others a little better right now just because of how things have moved recently. Let's get my list down. Okay. Okay, let's see. Roblox setting up. This is the best pullback this is seen in some time, and you can see the buyers are already kind of knocking on this door. RTX hicking up. There was a setup here. We looked at it. We actually built and took a, some people I think pulled the trigger. It actually was around here, and then it rallied the rest of the day. So it's a little underwater. I'll tell you what. If this were to pull back like this on the hiccup and then go, certainly valid. Yeah, let's see what happens here. Tesla is getting beat up a little bit. Okay. I'll keep going here. TSM. I mean, they're all kind of showing similar things. This one looks like it's ready to pop. Yeah, I think Elon is definitely confused as to does he want to be in the political sphere or not, or I don't know. I'm with you on that one. Uber. Nothing here for us. It's just kind of pushing up against this resistance. Not much there. Here's bullish dollar. Not much there. Here's Visa. If you're wondering if this has done enough for me, yes. If I have something like that. Here's the VIX. Not showing much of a blip at all, really. Here's Walmart. Okay. Trades you're in? Fine. Manage them. Plenty of setups developing. Whether we get them this week or not, with it being a short week, that remains to be seen. Am I thinking about preemptives? Hell yes. Market postures sitting just under a 5. So, yeah, most definitely I am. Thoughts, questions, concerns. Last week of the loop, you're working on goals. I hope you have a couple of goals set, specifically defined, ready to go. There it is. That's a Wednesday. A little bit of an ugly start. I think everything is fine. Let's just relax, watch it. Tomorrow, I didn't hear from Glenn yet. we'll see what happens there. Tomorrow, we'll meet Thursday in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. To wrap up the week, because remember, Friday is closed. Nothing's happening Friday. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Glenn will be here later this afternoon. And then I will see you guys tomorrow, both in the afternoon and the evening. So let's get ready for that. Thanks, guys. As always, happy trading.